What's up, guys? Throwing this out there as just so people can learn about power saws, and I mean, I'm about to turn 18, and I've been working on small engines and vehicles since I could turn a wrench. I don't know how the video is going to turn out, so with time it'll get better. Just bear with me. Got a little business going on, JAH Porton. Love running power saws. It's just a passion I've found, and today I got a customer saw in here, and complaint was it wouldn't run, so I went ahead and ordered a carb kit. It's Stihl Ms230 or Ms230, same thing. And carburetor it has on it is a Zama S76A. So today we're going to put a carb kit in it. People always get intimidated by this, and it's really not that bad. Only thing you gotta watch out for is, from what I've seen, is make sure your needle is adjusted properly, and make sure the seat is good. So after we put this together, we will pressure test it, and see, it all looks good in here. Just diaphragm's kind of iffy, so that's why we went ahead and got a carb kit for it. And for this Zama S76A, it's a RB 105 or Stens number 615 220, and this is the complete rebuild kit with your pump diaphragm, your metering diaphragm, and your needle valve, the hinge pin, the screen, and the spring. Everything looks good. Screen's clear. You want to make sure that you can see daylight through the screen, because if the screen's plugged up or if it's been sitting for a long time, there'll be varnish in here. So you definitely need to check that out. And you can get by with cleaning them, but I suggest going ahead and just getting a new one or whatever you may have. So this is your pump diaphragm. That goes on first towards the flat body of the carb. Then you have your gasket. And all of this is clean. I'd been in here before and cleaned it. So you just line up the little holes there, and then you go ahead and put your screw back on. So I'm by means not a professional at this. Like I said, I've been doing it for as long as I could remember turning wrenches, and found out that I was pretty good at it. So next we're going to go ahead and put the back plate back on, and go ahead and get this stuff back on. Put your 2 screws in the back, and you don't need to go Incredible Hulk on these screws. Just snug, and then a little bit more of a turn.
That way you don't ruin anything. And same thing over here. Also meant to add, it's a C1Q S76A carb from Zama. Make sure your choke lever and your throttle lever isn't stuck. All work as they should. And now go ahead and pressure and vacuum test it for you guys. So this is just a pressure and vacuum tester. I got the whole kit. You can buy them pretty cheap, about 50-60 bucks, and let me tell you, they'll save you lots of time. So we just have it hooked up into our fuel port, and I have it set on vacuum now. So you want to pressurize and pull about 7 pounds of vacuum, and then what you want to look for is if it decreases very quickly. So we're going to pull a vacuum. As we can see, let it sit there for a second, and it's not moving. So vacuum wise, this carb's good. It means there's no leaks. And then we're going to do the same thing but adding pressure. So go ahead and pump up to about 7 pounds. See if you guys can see this. It's moving a little bit, but you don't want it to just drop immediately. So that's pretty good. I'll call that good. And then you just go ahead and put it back on your saw. So as I said earlier, it's a Ms230 or a 023. So go ahead and sit you guys up. That way you can see how it goes back together. These are a little bit funky to work on. The fuel line, I have it tucked up underneath of the choke lever. So you just want to index your carb with your fuel adjustment screws towards the right hand of the saw if you're behind it and working it. And so what you want to do is go ahead and hook up your fuel line, and then just kind of bend it down and line up those bolt holes. And you're going to have to manhandle it a little bit because the fuel line's got to clear this choke lever. But as you can see, that's down in there. Got this choke lever here. There's a hole in the side of this lever that this goes, and then you just go ahead and flip your choke lever up, and then make sure it works. Then you've got your throttle linkage. This goes back in here and hooks, so you gotta fish it up underneath of here. Sorry, I'm trying to see what I'm doing. So we got that hooked in there, butterfly's moving, and then we go down to the handle and try to keep it connected to the carburetor. This is the tricky part. So you got to go in there and get this to snap into the groove like that, and make sure that everything works as it's supposed to. So and then obviously up is kill. So everything seems to be working like it should. Now we have our fuel tank vent this little rubber doohickey that Stihl puts on here, so we're just going to go ahead and put that back in place. Has to go over your adjustment screws and your idle screw. So that's pushed back in there, and there's a little tab right up in here that this little line is supposed to go, and sometimes it wants to go up there and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. And that just keeps it away from the linkage when you're using the saw. So now, oh, you guys are sitting lopsided over there. There you go. Now we have our air box. So go ahead and slap that back on there. And then you have two 8mm nuts. And you don't want to go Hulk on these either, because you're going to be pressing these up against a plastic airbox housing. So you just want to go snug and a little bit more. So that's snug, and then a little bit more, and snug, and a little bit more. And then you're pretty much good to go. Push the choke lever down to make sliding the cover on easier. It just kind of sits on there, and then you push it in and you twist this up, and there you go. That's putting gaskets and checking the carb in a Ms230, and it's quite similar in all saws. Just removal and installation may vary, but all carbs for saws and trimmers and blowers have the same concept, and they're even nice enough to give you recommended adjustments for your jets when you start it up. So you got low speed, you go through the handle, and you got high speed, and then of course your idle adjustment. So I'll put some fuel in this thing and see how she does. But appreciate you guys. Like I said, I just want to get this out there and try and build into the community of saw people, saw builders, people who work on saws. I just really enjoy this. Kind of what got me started was old Buck and Billy Ray Smith. I was watching him, and then started doing stuff with Tin Man and Iron Horse, and I just really took a liking to it and started watching all of them, and Bayou Country Power Saws and John's Custom Saws. All of them guys are just great characters. They're honest people. Just wonderful people to have in the saw community, and hoping that maybe one day I'll be able to become a part of it. And so one by one we'll get there, and that's all I got to say. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.